Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
We made it to a new year against all odds.
Yeah, nevertheless, we persisted. We're still here. You can't get rid of us.
No, we're unkillable roaches.
Right.
We will be here when all else fails.
Yeah.
How are you? Welcome to the new year.
Yes, we're new year, not new me. I am live, laughing, and loving. I guess. I wanted to bring to the space some drama.
Fuck, thank you.
Some goss.
First of all. Please.
Start the new year with some deep goss.
New year, same shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I was alerted
That's
to this.
me ripping and applesauce, by the way.
Right, exactly.
I'm
Just
so
full.
excited.
Buckle up. Everyone sit down. Just relax. This particular bit of drama was brought to my attention by a friend of the show, Kelsey Weekman.
Oh, hello.
And it's a drama in the book internet, the indie author community.
These literate bitches.
Yeah. There's this one author who like sells books on like, you know, just like Kindle, you know, for like $2. Like that's kind of her jam, right? It's like very small, self-publishing, whatever. And
right.
She was in a Facebook group about those, like, that kind of indie author community. And apparently, 2 years ago, someone in her, like, family or something posted that she had passed away. Right?
Now, hold on. This is an episode of Normal Gossip.
Everyone's really sad about it. This person that originally posted it was like, oh, it would really mean a lot if you, like, bought her last book. Like, I think it would really mean a lot to her, you know, that like, you know, this was like the last thing that she did and it was like really nice or whatever, and kept like plugging this book, right?
Yeah, this like tentacle porn.
This was how the lay of the land was in that Facebook group for the last 2 years, because everyone just kind of like moved on and grieved and whatever until last week when the original author, who died allegedly,
sure,
came back to Facebook.
Shut the fuck stop. This is literally an episode of Normal Gossip because this happened in, I want to say, the second season. They covered an episode just like this.
Sure,
but it was a like ceramic, no, it was like a watch community.
Oh, yes, I remember that. Yes.
Like it was like at the beginning
like
of
forums.
the internet.
Yeah, it was like a forum.
Yes,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah. Right.
What the fuck? This shit makes me so mad.
It's insane. And like this woman like posts on this Facebook group and is like, you know, I debated how to do this a million times and like I don't even know if this is like the right way to do it.
No, it's not.
You're gonna have a lot of questions, like people might leave the group, whatever. But like, you know, my family did what was best for me by doing that, and I'm back. And then she ended that original post with like the last sentence of that was, "Let the fun begin." Which
Ew!
is bananas.
Is this a Saw movie?
I know. Yeah, I'm like, are you gonna like kill people in this group? I'm scared.
What's
going
fuck?
on? And so now all these authors or like indie, you know, loving community people are like respectfully having a fit in the damn Facebook group of being like, what the fuck, like you lost all trust, and also like we all like paid for your shitty like the type of books that she writes are, I think they're called bully romance novels.
Okay, first of all, whoa.
Yeah.
Second of all, if you were going to go into your like lover to reputation, or your like fucking, if you're gonna go into your reputation era of like no one saw me for a year,
right? Yeah,
you don't have to say that you literally died,
right? like, you can just dip, you know? Like, you can just hit the bricks and leave. Like, that's fine. Or you can just, like, not be perceived for a year or two.
And also, not to make ill of the people who were experiencing, like, oh my god, this person that I talked to is dead. But, like, this happened a couple years ago. There would be an obituary posted.
Right.
So, because in the normal gossip one,
Mm-hmm.
it happened at the very beginning of the internet. So people had a really hard time trying to figure it out.
Right.
And they only confirmed it because there was an obituary posted in, like, a local newspaper.
Right.
It's a lot harder if you're an auteur to, like,
Right.
erase your digital footprint.
Yeah, completely.
I'm a nosy bitch, so I would have tried to confirm it.
But I am obsessed with this. I can't stop thinking about it. I think the audacity is truly breathtaking.
One of my favorite things about Kelsey's reporting is that it's not just, like, internet gossip, but that she has specifically gone into, like, book communities.
Right, like very
over
specific
the past
niches.
year.
Right, totally.
This is wild. Just so that you can make, like, theoretically, like, what? 100 sales of your $2 Kindle book?
Right. Yeah.
And the return off of that is not $2 each time.
Yeah.
So you got what? You
like,
got,
is it worth it?
like, groceries?
Yeah. Ugh.
Someone did not think through their crime.
No. You did not think this through.
Nothing
But-
pisses me off more than people who are bad at crime.
Yeah, for real.
Oh my gosh. My mind is spinning. I can't
Yeah.
believe this.
Yeah.
But what a happy thing, though, you know?
Yeah, it is. I mean, on the surface, probably doesn't seem like a happy thing, but it does bring me an immense amount of joy and just brain juice. I'm a big fan of all this.
Just so that they could, write a blog that's like, I look pretty good for a dead bitch? Like,
Like, for what?
Go away.
For what? Was it worth it?
here's my
Oh.
Substack of what I did over 2 years.
God.
No one cares.
Yeah, that'd be so good. Oh my gosh.
Ugh.
So that's giving me joy. How are you?
I'm alive,
Amazing.
so that's good. I haven't faked my death,
Right.
so I guess that puts me in a better position than
Yeah.
some people on the internet. My happy thing is just a real swing opposite of this. It is movie popcorn. Movie theater popcorn.
Ooh.
And I'm not just talking about, like, you go down to your local movie theater popcorn. I'm talking about a specific kind, which is, in Seattle, we used to have a Cinerama.
Yeah.
And I don't know if all Cineramas had this, because I'm not that well traveled
Sure.
to movie theaters. But our Cinerama had chocolate popcorn.
Ooh.
And earlier this week, I was, like, standing in my kitchen and I was, like, punched in the face with this memory of the smell when you would walk into the Cinerama with the smell of the chocolate popcorn being made. And the best way that I can describe it is, like, the lobby smelled like Cocoa Puffs.
Oh, that's like an ideal movie theater smell, I feel like.
And it's like, you know, it already smells like regular popcorn, right? So you have
Sure.
that good, like, mouth-watering smell, and then you get this, like, under note of Cocoa
Yeah.
Puffs. And when I tell you, earlier this week my mouth is watering, and now my mouth is watering more. Because Cocoa Puffs were one of my favorite cereals as a kid when
Yeah.
we could actually have cereal.
Sure.
I have had the popcorn before, and like most movie theaters, it's like the small is still big, and then you get a large, and it's like, well, that's a ridiculous amount. The joy of this taste is like 2 bites. And then it's like, oh, that's just a lot of chocolate
Right.
on
Like,
all
we've hit
of this popcorn.
the fun limit here.
Right. Because it's really just I really just wanted the satisfying taste. And then it's like, oh, I actually just want regular popcorn now. I mean, I haven't been to a movie theater in forever, but like the Cinerama that was in Seattle is closed. The area doesn't have access to this anymore. So I found that this is a real danger, but I did find a Reddit post and I was like, oh no. Of people asking like, listen, we don't have this anymore. Is there any employee that could just fucking tell me, like, how do I get this flavor?
Just like, you can spill the trade secrets. It's okay. You know?
Yeah. Like,
it's not going to hurt.
They were like, listen, it's not like I can just go in and buy this anymore. We don't have it in this state. So what do I do?
Right. What am I supposed to do?
Right, exactly. So the ex-employee, who I will not name to protect their privacy, said that it's a chocolate flavored powder that would go in, and they would usually do like a 1-to-1 ratio of putting that in and like coating the regular popcorn in there. I want to say, like, that chocolate flavor, it tastes exactly like Cocoa Puffs. So whatever kind of fucking, like, milk chocolate, semi-sweet that is, it just really did it, you know?
Yeah.
So,
dang.
I would love to know personally for folks who are in, one, I don't know if Cinerama has had others across the country. I know there's one in LA, but I don't know if they also did the chocolate popcorn. Yeah. I would love to know if they still do it.
If the tradition still goes on.
Ever get a chance, it's worth trying just so that you can experience it.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
We have 2 current events this week.
Yeah.
The first is some real estate news, which we don't often get to talk about.
Right.
So it's always nice when it happens.
Yeah, we love buildings.
We do, notably
money.
on the show, we do love buildings.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we talked about Happiest Season, but don't you dare think we've forgotten about it.
We'll never forget. 'Tis the season for Happiest Season.
If you rewatch that for the holidays, for the winter times, and you were like, damn, that house is cool, you can actually own it if you have a spare $4 million.
Just a cool $4 million. Yeah. It's...
and you want to live in Pennsylvania, which I will say, you know, it is the specs on this, and this is posted on dirt.com.
Sure.
So,
thank you, Dirt.
Sure. It is almost 8,000 square feet.
That's so wild.
With 7 bedrooms and 9 bathrooms.
Yeah.
So if you and like your entire friend group want to just live there together, I think that would be a great idea.
Yeah. We can all just put our minds together. You know, get some...
Put your hearts together.
Right. Get some loose change from in our pockets, you know, really just
right.
Put everything together. I think we can make... What if this just becomes like a gay Christmas hype house? You know what I mean? Like, that feels like it's destiny, in a way.
That is actually all I would want from it.
Right.
I mean, it's on almost 10 acres of land. Can you imagine how much gay you could fit in there?
Right.
That's a lot.
So much room for activities, you know? You could do stunts. And you have so much room for if you get the zoomies, you know? You could just run around.
Oh my God. I'm just saying, I think that if you and like, 20? I don't know.
Sure.
30 people want to gather some funds.
Yeah.
have a grand old time.
Ooh, you know what would also be a good use case for this house? If,
What?
you know, we know K-Stu is doing her gay ghost hunting show, I think, still.
Yes.
I don't know. We haven't really heard a lot about that. But she's maybe discovering that she could be a little bit of a reality TV host situation. And what if the wonderful producers of The Bachelor, or an offshoot of The Bachelor, just made a smaller, low-key, gay version, historically?
And potentially haunted, because it was built in 1935.
For sure. Potentially haunted. You can also have ghosts there. Maybe Clea Duvall will show up. Who knows? You know, like, this could be...
Kristen's been in the industry for a really long time, and notably has lived in LA.
Right.
All of her life.
Sure.
I think it would be wild to assume that she doesn't know anything about reality television. If she got into the production industry and did a reality television show,
Right.
that would actually be all I'd want in life.
I kind of just
and I
want
know
that
she's doing
forever.
the ghost one, but like
Right.
a romance one.
Yeah.
Hello? Hear me out. What if that house was the center for the U.S. Taskmaster, and K-Stu produced it?
That's way better. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because A, room for activities. Great.
Right,
Lot
room
of
for
rooms,
activities.
Spacious, but also, like, old feeling.
Maybe haunted. I feel like she has the connections to be able to actually make a U.S. Taskmaster real.
Like, I feel like, yeah, the people that she would bring on would probably be very good and would understand the assignment. Damn.
And if she was able to do that and make that work and be good, she could do anything.
Yeah, so true.
It's all I want.
Yeah.
This next piece of news I would love for you to share, because it really spin me for a loop.
Yeah. Welcome back to Guys Being Dudes corner. It's not an often segment that we have on this show, but it is an
Now
important.
I kind of want it to be, though.
Yeah, maybe we'll just we need to wait for more guys to be dudes, you know. But we have a great candidate this time.
So real.
Because turns out our boy Jamie Dornan spent New Year's with just a good friend, you know, just a friend of the show, a friend of Jamie Dornan, who we all know and love, Stanley Tucci. And I want to know everything about this evening, because they posted a little pic on Instagram. It was very cute. They're just sitting in front of a fireplace, literally drinking wine and other bevs, mid playing or doing a puzzle.
I would
just,
say
like,
playing is fair.
Yeah, they're playing a puzzle, sure. Verbs can mean whatever you want them to. That's what I love about language.
true.
It's like, and they're just chilling, you know? They're wearing little polos. They're just dadding out, you know? They're just relaxing, vibing. And I have never wanted to be in a room more in my life than this one in this moment.
One of my favorite things that we do on this show is, on this, again, audio podcast, is describe pictures.
Yeah, right. I mean, we
Could
can't
you-
deprive how good we are at describing JPEGs, so we can't deprive the listeners of
Right.
that talent that we
Could you confirm for the class if these two men, in what look like leather chairs in front of a fireplace, are giving off, "We saw you from across the bar and
Fuck.
we like your vibe"?
Yeah,
Vibe?
I mean, who would not be pulled in by that, you know, by this arrangement? Especially, like, they're just both, like, kind of crossing their arms a little bit. They're just, like, giving us smize, you know? They kind of are just like, hey, come on in if you want. And I think that's maybe just because Stanley Tucci just naturally and fundamentally
Right.
exudes so much sexual energy. I think anyone in his perimeter just, like, it will always give off that vibe because he's so, like, potently sexual.
Yeah, like the way he's crossing his arms and his legs, you can see his muscles, and that's just honestly, I don't understand why it's taken so long for people to understand what we're looking for in a man.
Right.
when he, like, this photo does it.
He's been here the
What are
whole
you
time.
talking
It's
about?
right here. This is it.
We just need a man in a polo and red socks. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's what masculinity is all about. That's what we
I need to look away from this photo because it's kind of like the Mona Lisa. I feel like everywhere I move, these eyes are following me.
Yeah, it's hard to look away. Okay, I need to close this tab. Stanley Tucci.
I feel like it's going to give me, like, my computer a virus or something. Like, it's really fucking with me a little bit. Oh, God. Also, the fact that, like, those two, like, because their wives were there too, obviously.
Sure.
But they're too badass to be photographed.
Yeah.
They actually don't show up on cameras. It's weird. It's, I don't know, the power of a woman, I guess. It's just important to me. I'm so glad that they decided comfort on a New Year's Eve evening is like formal wear. Okay. I love it so much. Last week, here's what I remember us talking about. Eddie and Rose and Lissa traveled to Fairbanks, Alaska.
Yes.
Not to be on a History Channel show about truckers and ice or on Alone, but to do Ocean's 8 crimes.
Yes.
They had magic concealing their appearances. They broke in to an unbreakable in prison.
Right, a maximum security prison.
In the middle of nowhere, and did a lot of Lissa did a lot of magic to get Victor into a room. He was confusion, but also like down to clown.
Yeah.
And Rose said, attack me.
Right.
That's what I remember.
So, fuck. This chapter is wild. Because she's like, it is right from the jump there, being like, okay, don't fucking bite me, but like, you know.
Can you imagine if Ferrero was like, so 24 hours later? Like, I would be pissed.
Yeah, and then everything, then we're in a different city. Goodbye, everyone. That was fun. No, the action starts immediately. And it's like, okay, throw yourself at me, swing at me, whatever. Just like cause a scene, literally.
Right.
And realize that's kind of like his one shot. So he's going to do it.
Yes.
So he like lunges, you know, tries to like kind of choke her with like the chain on his cuffs and stuff. And Rose plays the great part of just like screaming, guttural screaming.
Yeah.
Which alerts obviously all these guardians and stuff to see what was going on. But then she was like, psych, and goes attacks them who just came in. It was like, eat shit.
Those poor dudes.
Right. Yeah, they really didn't know what was coming for them because they were like, especially Rose being like, ugh, I just want the serotonin and dopamine from being a feeder. Ooh, like, please, I'm so weak. I'm so tired. And then goes full, like, boss mode on it, which I appreciate.
Right. These two guardians are just trying to do their job in a maximum security prison. Like, has to be one of the worst assignments that you can get as a guardian.
Yeah.
And now they have to deal with this bullshit.
Right, exactly. And, like, too, everything, like, is kind of going chaotically because Rose is, like, beating down these guardians and stuff, while also Lissa in the room is, like, still trying to, like, use compulsion to, like, make sure that Northwood was like calm and not gonna freak out and call someone. So like everyone's like using like their own energy to the max here at the same time.
Yes. This scene reminds me a lot of like fight in D&D. There's just so many different
Right. There's a lot of layers.
Piece of chaos is happening.
Yeah.
And I think Lissa even says that because there's technically before this fight went off, there was Northwood, and then there was the feeder that she was
Mm-hmm.
trying to compel.
Right.
And then now there's these two guardians, and I think Lissa eventually says, like, hey, I can't, it takes so much energy to compel multiple people. We gotta knock some of these people out.
Right. I think it's so funny too, because like at one point there's like one of the guys is just like too powerful or whatever that Rose can't really like keep up with, and it's like we got to switch our compulsion energy to this guy because we can use him or something. And then Liz is like, okay, bet, and like goes to who she was compulsing before. It was like, okay, you're really sleepy, so go to sleep. You're gonna be really sleepy for like a few hours probably, so just like sleep. And turns out it works.
And you know what? That'll do it.
We love that.
Great. I love that.
Yeah.
I was really surprised by, I mean, I know that Lissa has a lot of adrenaline going on right now, but I was surprised by her response to Victor and the feeder in this moment.
Ooh, yeah. Because so he like gets she like undoes his cuffs and stuff and being like, okay, you're our bitch now, like you have to follow us if you want to get out of here, whatever. And he is like, hey, can I have like a little snack though before we go? I'm a little peckish, you know. And
Need
Rose
some orange slices before we go.
Right. And Rose is trying to be all like, no, fuck you, like we're getting out of here, we don't have time for this, like, and also don't like fucking feed on us on someone when we're like right here kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But Lissa is just kind of like, okay, make it quick, like just do it. Which Rose is kind of surprised by and was planning on like lashing out a little bit at him about it, but she's just like, just fucking do it, like you'll be faster and it'll be good to like help us get out of here. And then he goes like a little bit longer than a little
This
sip.
dude.
Yeah, he milks it a little bit. And it's more that, I mean, he is kind of being an asshole, but it's more like that he's kind of just like back in a trance because it seems like he's been deprived of a lot of it for a while. Because it's more like on that regulated system of, you know, once every however long in the prison.
It seems like they've been doing feedings just enough to not kill
Right.
these prisoners,
just like to keep
and
them
not
alive.
actually to keep them like, you know, thriving.
Right. Yes. It's more just like
so
they
he did
are
actually
barely
need
alive.
this.
Yes. Yeah. Needed to fuel.
Right. Yeah. I think ultimately it made their escape more effective,
Totally.
but it felt like Victor just trying to get a one-up on them, which is definitely something he would do.
Yeah. For sure.
I was very nervous reading this chapter
Mm-hmm.
because the guardian that they're compelling, Giovanni, felt like, when I was reading it, I felt the whole time like he's being compelled, but it's only working like 80%.
Yeah.
And I kept waiting for the time when he would see those like alarm buttons and he would just hit one of them.
Right. Yeah. Or like something would like slip. Like, especially since Lissa so like seems overexerted in her energy right now.
Yeah.
Like one moment could just be like all over, you know?
I think it is a testament to Ferrero and how she writes that, like, we are, 25% of the way through this book. I knew they were going to escape, but I was like, damn, what if they don't, though?
Right.
So
I love to, so one of the first places Giovanni takes them is to this, like, security room. And before then, Lissa and Mia had already kind of, like, shut off most of the security cameras and stuff, which is good. But there's also this, like, big, like, techie place where monitors everything and all the other ones that still exist or whatever. And Rose, as we know, famously not a fan of computers.
no.
know? And was just like, oh shit, hey, we gotta subdue these guys. That I can do, but like, what do we do with this.
Right.
And she just like
Well, because last
smashes.
time she wasn't there.
Right.
It was Lissa and Mia at the court who had done this, so she didn't have to worry about it.
Right, exactly.
And
So
now
this
she's
is
like, God damn it.
Right.
What do I do?
And just starts like beating the shit out of this. like Giovanni starts like turning off the monitors and stuff and doing some commands. But because it still could be like accessed on a hard drive or recoverable, she just like beats it with like a bat. Just goes wild on it. And
I'm glad Victor said something.
Yeah.
Originally, I think Rose had said, like, delete an hour from all of these
Right.
cameras. And then Victor was the one who was like, well, I mean, sure, but, like, they could recover this. And that's when she was like, you know what? Fuck this technology. I don't even trust this.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take this fire extinguisher and just beat this to a pulp.
Yeah. Wild. But we love it. Very, Janelle Monáe, Glass Onion. We love to see it. Just beat that shit up.
Yeah, when in doubt, just make it as difficult as possible to recover the footage.
Absolutely. Lissa's starting to feel kind of the strain of fully controlling Giovanni's every move. Of like literally having like a human puppet.
Right.
And we also have this moment where they take a route out, because before, when they came in, they passed through the prisoner area. I think the parentheses was criminals or something like that. I don't remember what it was. But this one is, prisoner area, parentheses, psychiatric.
So y'all know in Pokemon when you have to walk through the grass and like you can't avoid it?
Right.
And as soon as you take a step in that grass that something's going to be like doodaloo and you're going to have to fight something. That is what Giovanni is trying to make them walk through right now.
Yes, completely. And it's interesting because Lissa has like a very specific reaction to this and like feels something, sort of the way that Rose has her like spidey sense of Strigoi.
Yeah.
Like she's having her version of that, which we haven't really seen a lot of before. And it's like, we need to like find another way. We need to get out of here. Even if it isn't the fastest way, like we need to not be in here. And it turns out, because it's the, psychiatric ward of this prison, a lot of them are spirit users and she can like sense them, which is wild.
That is such a... Ferrero Rocher has thought of like so much shit.
Yeah.
I think it's also really telling of how much the Academy has not prepared both the Moroi and the Guardians for the outside world, because Rose is the one who's like, psychiatric?
Yeah.
Like, you mean there's prisoners here who have mental problems? And it's like, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, for sure.
Obvious. Like, yeah.
Especially in a world where nobody knows what spirit is, really, and thinks it's all just legend.
Right.
Of course they're going to be, like, put away in this sort of environment. Even though it's not right, but as in a culture that demonizes
Exactly.
this version of, like, mental health, right? Like, even though it's, like, a power, a superpower, or whatever, or an ability.
Right. And like we saw in the show, so much of this world is focused on religion, that they most likely would view these psychiatric patients as like heretics.
Yeah, completely.
That like what they're doing is not just a crime in like a legal sense, but it's a crime in a like religious society sense. So the fact that there would be spirit users there makes complete sense.
Right, totally.
So of course Lissa's like shocked by that, but of course Victor's like,
Right, yeah. Ooh, what's going on here? And of course she's like, they might, if I can sense them, they can probably sense me, and our cover might be blown. Even if they probably don't trust their word for anything, we don't want to raise any other suspicion. But you can tell she like kind of has this like lingering, like wants to check it out and like have that connection or whatever. But it's also like, hey, we gotta go, and also when's the next time we're gonna break into a high security prison? Who knows, you know?
That part was so funny to me that Rose's internal monologue was like, we'd have to check into this another time.
Right.
Like the next time you break into this fucking max security prison.
We'll just circle back the next time. Yeah, we'll go back. When we have a little bit more time to look around, you know, we'll get to that little spot.
And this comes into play next chapter too. But this idea of like a magnetic pull between the spirit users makes a lot more sense in the earlier books with Ms. Carp and Lissa. This idea that like when I had initially read that, I was like, oh, that's kind of like weird. Like I couldn't tell if it was like a teacher trying to mentor a student or if it was like creepy, right? You know, like a little inappropriate. And it seems like it's like there's because of the powers that they have, that they're like, we don't see these in other people, so I'm trying to help you survive, kind of thing, which is really interesting.
Yeah. We meet back up with Eddie. Yay, Eddie. Who I guess
just like vibing.
Yeah, this whole time he's just been chatting up Theo and talking about like court politics and just like shooting the shit. And then as soon
they're
as
just
they come
like
in,
effectively playing cards with each other.
Totally.
This dude.
And we love him.
I'm so glad that Rose brought someone with charisma, finally.
Yeah, thank God. Someone with sauce for this heist. We love it. And as soon as they come in there, Eddie immediately goes into X Games mode and just like puts her in a chokehold, which I'm sure is very whiplash.
Just
for
effectively Theo. like switches off and like snaps this dude's neck. I love him so much.
It was like a sleeper cell activation thing. It was just like, let's go, it's time to go. But unfortunately, before he like fully gets like unconscious, he does like let out like a scream a little bit, which causes again more guardians and staff to like come on in and try to fight them again. And Rose is like, God damn it, can we just get out of here, please? And then, as if they can't catch a break again, Giovanni's compulsion on himself has broken, and he's now back fighting. And there's like a big fancy silver fucking bell or alarm sound or something that he like slams, and the whole place goes berserk.
Fucking Giovanni.
Yeah, it's like you couldn't have held on for like 5 seconds, dude. You were being so good as a human puppet.
Listen, I get it. You think that there's like a crime happening, but also, Giovanni, you work in a prison. Right. Can you just...
This is probably the most exciting your job has been in months. So...
Right. And also, like, you want to say, you want to fight against these people? You want to be pro-prison, Giovanni?
Yeah, welcome to the resistance, Giovanni.
Yeah, for real, Giovanni. God.
Yeah. Come on now.
Finally, I have an enemy to talk shit about.
Yeah, thank God.
It's been so long. Fuck Giovanni.
Your mortal enemy. So they end up taking care of business. Eddie finds Giovanni's like card because the doors are kind of locked from the inside after the alarm.
Not before Giovanni smashes Rose's head.
Oh, true. You're so right.
You're
so right. Yeah, Rose gets fucked up a little bit here because Giovanni is very strong, very powerful, and she's definitely like seeing stars a little bit. But it's like, no, it's fine. I got this.
And like everyone, it should be noted that everyone that they have come into contact with, like every guardian, has a concussion because they've all knocked them out. Yeah. And Rose has been feeling like immense guilt because she's like, these are my homies. Like these are guardians. I shouldn't be beating up my people. And now she has a concussion. She's like, you know what? Maybe I earned that.
Yeah. How about fuck all of you?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But they do get the security card.
They get the security card,
which is good.
They exit. They go back into, and now in Stephenie Meyer fashion, which I was not expecting, we get a car chase. Driver. Yeah, we get a baby driver car chase out the wazoo. And this is thrilling. They're like crashing through shit. They're speeding. There's guns. There's like people, we don't know what's going on, and it's all just like, what the fuck is happening? Swerving like absolute bananas driving going on here.
One of my favorite parts about this is it's very clear that even though the initial part, like some parts of the escape didn't go as planned, the exit in the truck is, like, they have planned this part out.
Yeah.
But Victor, true backseat driver, is like, excuse me, sorry, they're gonna send people after us.
Yeah.
There's probably trucks leaving right now. And Rose snaps her head back and is like, motherfucker, you don't think that we guessed that there's going to be people coming after you?
Yeah. You think we didn't
Like-
plan for that, you fool?
Right, exactly.
What the fuck kind of heist do you think this is? We're out of a high security prison. Okay?
Right. You don't think that, like, we knew trying to get you out of this prison that there would be at least, like, 3 convoys trying to come and get you?
Yeah.
This fucker.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's fine, because they don't. Like, they lose them, which is good.
Right. Because they planned a route that was, like, very twisty-turvy
Right.
to sort of out chase them. And it turns out it works. It's
Yeah,
too
it's great.
confusing.
I thought it was interesting that Victor doesn't know Abe and Rose are related.
Oh my god. Yeah.
This dude who's like, I know everything, I'm connected to everything, doesn't know that.
Right. And of course Rose is like not gonna give him that satisfaction. And it's like,
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely not.
you know, I know him. Like he's a guy.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah. They have this interesting convo where it's like, you know, what if I give you whatever it is you want and then you like send me back? And Rose is kind of just like, yeah, I mean, you shouldn't trust
We'll
me.
never do that.
Right, yeah. Who, us? But also like you can't trust me and you shouldn't. And like, but this is it. And you want to take those odds? Like, this is your shot, buddy.
Right. So he finally gives up the goods that his brother, Robert, fucking Bob,
Yeah.
lives in Vegas.
Sin City, baby.
Let's go.
The gang goes to Vegas.
I hope they have their fucking CSI shades.
Yes. Oh
We are
my God.
hitting the city.
Yeah, we're hitting the strip. We're going gambling. We're smoking
Oh.
inside.
Okay, all we have seen so far is that Lissa and Rose, like the biggest city that we have seen them in the books anyways, has been Portland.
Yes.
The fact that there is no... Well, okay, never mind, because Rose was in Russia, which is like in the capital of Russia, much
Yeah.
bigger than Portland. The fact that there was no culture shock to being in Vegas seems fake to me.
Yeah.
Because the first time that I went there as a kid, I was like, whoa. This is like a arcade, all of it.
Yeah. Oh,
But
lovely.
that's fine.
Yeah, it's all right. Apparently there's like Vegas is kind of like a cool spot for vampires, which like tracks, right? Because everything
I believe that.
stays out too late. Everything's open really late. There's a lot of dark, moody corners. There's a lot of lights that don't need like the sun.
Right.
There's also like apparently a very like Moroi based like hotel, which I thought was really interesting. Like it's like the
Sure.
hot spot if you're there, which of course like they can't really go to because everyone's probably freaking out about how
They have a
Victor
criminal.
was busted out of prison, and if they just like walk in casually, that'd probably not be a good idea.
Yeah.
And then of course Eddie, the genius lovable scamp that he is,
I love
it's
this
like,
man.
I have an idea. What about that one that's shaped like a pyramid? Not for any other reason of like safety or like access or whatever. Just the fact that it like
Let's go to
looks
the one
really
with the
cool.
light that shoots up into the fucking sky
yeah,
and points where we are.
right. And it just
Let's
like
go see
looks
Chris Angel,
cool.
babe.
Yeah, like let's do it. That's what it's all about, baby. And I love that. So I'm a big fan of Eddie's contribution to the group.
I love his work. I also love that they almost didn't make it.
Right.
Because they thought through almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the fact that commercial flights, you do need ID. Because we are in a post 9/11 world, baby.
Right. Didn't really think that
Victor
one
doesn't
through.
have ID.
Right. Because jail. So that was a little bit of a hiccup, but they're also like, we know a guy. Let's go back to our favorite shady rental car guy and see if he has a shady PJ
see if Bud
connection.
knows a guy.
Right. Knows a guy to give us a little PJ. And they do. They have to end up taking like 2 flights, which ends up being very expensive. But they do make it to Vegas.
It is worth noting here that one, you can buy off almost anyone, right?
Yes.
That's important to know.
Right.
The other thing that's worth noting here is that because they are taking a private jet to Seattle and then another one to Vegas. Rose uses her credit card here.
Yes,
and
that is important.
This is a credit card that Adrian set up for her Russian trip. If you are anything like me, you would say, probably shouldn't leave a paper trail.
Right.
You are correct.
Yeah, that is an astute observation.
Rose, sweet summer child, is like, oh, well, when I was on my Russian trip, he was like, oh, no, it's all good. I won't look into what you're doing.
Right.
And she thinks that still applies.
Right. Yes. Because that was
It
a
does
very
not.
specific situation. And it's not really the lay of the land. And I think in her mind, she was like, well, he said it was for an emergency. And this definitely is an emergency. So.
Right. But he thinks that they're on a girls' trip, which is not an emergency.
No. Right.
Yeah. So obviously they get to the Luxor.
Yes. This giant pyramid.
I forgot that we were reading a book that is in like 2007, 2008. And remembering that you could at this time just like smoke anywhere and that was fine. I forgot about that. And it made me remember how just like everything had like a smoking and a non-smoking section.
Yeah.
I am so glad that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. I think it still exists in Vegas. I think that's still like a lot of casinos at least. Maybe they got rid of that. But like I think it lasted a lot longer than anywhere else, you know? If it doesn't exist, it was much too long than anyone else did. But it could still exist.
I just remember going to hotels and then being like, this is a non-smoking room, and it's still like everything reeked of cigarette smoke. Oh my god. So the idea that it is like the middle of the day. We're in Vegas. We're chilling. But we're not chilling because everyone is just awkwardly in this hotel room together.
Right, yeah, they're all just like, so we don't really have much to talk about. How's
2
the
double
weather?
beds. It's just, everyone is just coming off of this like adrenaline high.
Yeah,
and
completely.
not talking.
Right.
Except for Victor, who calls his brother.
Right, and it's like, hey bud, you want to come meet me? Also, I am out of prison. Surprise!
I promise it is me.
I promise it's real. This is not a bit. It takes like a lot of convincing. We don't like hear the conversation, but they're on the phone for quite a bit of time of being like, just trust me. Like, come over here. We need to talk.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
And they decide on having dinner.
Yes.
When I eat dinner, so to hear that it was a senior special was rude.
Right, yeah, they're like 4:30. Yeah. They're like, ew, gross.
It's really rude, but that's fine.
Yeah, but it's cool.
Then they've already had lunch.
Yes.
At this point, they got room service. We don't get to know what they got, which is rude.
Yeah.
But then there's a knock on the door.
This scene is wild. This whole chapter, this part of this chapter is wild. Because
it is important to know when you are, folks, if you're not reading this, to know how the room setup looks. There's 2 double beds. Victor sitting on one. Lissa and Rose had been sitting on the other. Eddie, this whole time, has been standing on guard, like, in the back of the room. Just, like, eyes on Victor this whole time.
Right. Yeah, just like bodyguard.
Because I love him.
And there's a knock on the door, and Rose is like, who the fuck could that be? And Lissa is like, oh shit, it's Adrian. I can feel the spirit, and he can feel me, like, he knows we're in here. And it's totally him.
That's so fucky, because you can't just be like, you can't just ignore it.
Right, yeah.
Just not open the door.
I know, it can't just be like, nobody's here, you know, or like turn the lights off or whatever, just like pretend no one's there. It's kind of rude, honestly. Spirit's kind of a buzzkill. But they're like, fuck, okay. And like Rose goes up, looks at the peephole. Sure enough, it's Adrian. And she's like, fuck, okay, let me open this door. I don't know what the fuck to say to him, but he needs to at least, now he's part of this, I guess.
And he doesn't know what he's a part of, because when he opens the door, when she opens the door, he's excited.
Right.
And he kisses her, and he's like happy. And he's like, oh my God, babe, you thought you could just like go on a party weekend without me?
Right.
In Vegas?
You thought I wouldn't love Sin City? Come on.
Right.
Now.
Adrian, who is like the definition of Sin City.
Right, exactly. It's like, that seems kind of rude. And everyone is just like, and then...
And he walks in the door.
Right. And he starts to realize, and he's like, hey gang, you guys know that Victor Dashkov is like right there on your bed? Anyone notice this? Anyone see this? And nobody like says anything. Like, he sees that he turns around and sees that Eddie is there too, and it's like, what the fuck is this? I thought we were having a fun, sexy weekend in Sin City, and what is this? The joy that just like depletes from his face so quickly is so precious.
And there's like there's an eye contact that happens between Eddie and Rose, and he's like, go talk to him. I'm not gonna let anything happen.
Yeah.
Lissa's feeling stronger now.
Right. We're good.
And so
set him straight.
She takes Adrian outside, and she's realized from earlier this afternoon that like noise that's happened in the hallway, she's been able to hear with clarity. So they can't have this conversation out in the hall.
Right.
Because everyone will be able to hear.
Yeah.
So they head like downstairs and try to have this conversation near the casino. But then Adrian like pushes her against a wall.
Yeah.
Which, first of all, but then he's like pissed at this point. Because this is not what he signed up for. He's like, first of all, you left me a note. You said this was a girls' weekend.
Right. Lie number one.
Line number one, he's got a fucking list. Yeah. And when I left court, everyone was talking about a notorious criminal who had escaped a maximum security prison. And that guy's on your fucking bed. So what's the deal?
What? And Rose, of course, doesn't want to answer those questions. Like, how the fuck did you find us? And he's like, your fucking credit card, dude. Like, I sorry I snooped, okay? But, you know.
But also, you left in a very obvious paper trail.
Right.
On
very
both
obvious paper
the
trail.
Flights, and you put your credit card down on this hotel.
Right. And as soon as I saw that, I fucking hit the bricks. Just like wanted to have a fun Vegas weekend with my girl. And now we're here. So what the fuck?
It's the way that I understood this, his name is on these cards, and he put her name on these cards too. So theoretically, if they had made an agreement before, it didn't apply to this. So he's not technically, I mean, you know, he shouldn't be, but they didn't make an agreement that he couldn't figure out where she was going. So
Yes.
there's no, because she says, like, there are boundaries that you have to respect. Like, this is none of your business. I agree. And also, I like to know what's on my credit cards.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
if I saw that, I'd be like,
Right. Fraud?
I thought you were going on a girls' weekend, like, drive to New York, which is close from Pennsylvania, not Vegas.
Right. That's a whole different situation.
Yeah. And then he unfortunately, like, starts to put it together while talking to her.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you did.
Like, this was you.
That's why you asked Eddie. Like, and I don't know why it took him this long. Like, why he just thought Victor was that, like, they just met
like
up and
crashing. Yeah.
right? They accidentally got assigned the same hotel room. But he's like, you broke into a maximum security prison.
Yeah. And she's like, oops, who, me?
Must not have been all that secure. This motherfucker.
Yeah, I love her. And then it gets bad. Because of course
And naturally,
it is.
like, he asked why, right?
Right.
Valid question.
It's a valid question. It's not an answer that he wants to hear, though. And one that Rose was hoping to put off telling him for probably forever.
If she could avoid it.
Right. If it weren't for those meddling kids, you know? Those credit cards.
That is hard to do when it's Victor, who has caused a lot of trauma for both Lissa and Rose.
Right. Yes. And
she tries to skirt it.
Yeah. Like, he has information that we need. Like, he knows someone that will help us and be helpful for us. And of course, you know, he pries more because that's not enough. And she's like, fuck, okay. He knows, his brother knows, perhaps, maybe, how to turn Strigoi back. And of course, similar to the conversation that she had with Mikhail earlier, he's like, that's never happened. It doesn't exist. That's silly. That's a fool's errand.
Right.
But she's like, no, he seems like he's done it. And I just want to see if it's true. Right? And it might be, you know, and there's spirit stuff. And, like, we didn't know about that until, like, recently. So, like, who knows? There's a lot of things we probably don't know. And then it sets in that he's like, oh, like, this is about him. This is about Dimitri.
This fucking sucks.
It sucks so bad. Because, like, of course it is, right? But, like, it's such a bad position for both of them to be in, because Rose is, like, obviously is trying to pitch it as, like, it's not just him. Like, it could change everything. Like, we could, like, eradicate Strigoi and, like, bring them back to who they were.
Which is not wrong.
Which is not wrong, but it's not the full truth of why she's doing it.
It's not why she's doing it.
Because if this was, like, a, you know, a noble effort on her part to, like, do that, it would be a very different situation, and she wouldn't be this motivated for it. Obviously, this dedication to this wild plan is
And
Dimitri.
we just had a couple chapters ago where Adrian's mom essentially pleaded to her and was like, when you break this off, do not, like, please don't break his heart when you do it.
Yep.
And now, inadvertently,
yeah,
that is what's happening here.
Right.
And she knew that it was going to happen sometime, but she didn't think it was going to have to happen at this time.
Right. Yeah, she was not ready for this conversation in this moment.
And when he says, he's, like, yelling at this point.
Right. People are kind of, like, turning their heads.
You told me this was over. You told me that you could move on and be with me.
Right. And when he says, like, you know, she's like, well, of course I am, and I believe that, and that's the truth, but, like, we have to try, right? And then he's like, well, what if it works, right? Like, what are you gonna do? What does that mean? You know? Are you gonna, like, drop me immediately? Like, what the fuck is your plan, Rose? And Rose, in that moment, because I think it's true to what she believes, is just, I don't know. which, you know, she doesn't. Like, it doesn't know if, like, what, everything would be different, right? And, like, that's a totally new idea that she doesn't even, like, want to entertain a lot, right? Because it's very painful if it doesn't work, right?
Right.
But there's
and the
just
most
this,
truthful
like,
part of it that I think she says is she says, I can't ignore this. Like, I have to try.
Right.
And
like,
then
I love you, and I also can't not do this. Like, those two both exist at this moment.
Right. And then I haven't seen this in the books in a long time, but there's a really popular highlighted moment that he says here.
Yeah.
And I think this, I wonder, part of me wonders if this section is what Leo read and was like, I'm going to take this and make this my character for season 1.
Yeah, literally.
Because it feels a lot like how we saw Adrian interpreted in the show of like, I delude myself with dreams.
Yeah.
And I can't even spot reality anymore.
Right.
Like what's right in front of me.
Man.
And then he goes and is like, I need to go back into that world. I need to go drink. Ferrero, what's wrong with you?
And, you know, she gets mad, of course, and feels like defensive or whatever. And it's like, oh, going back to your old habits, like when anything gets complicated, blah, blah, blah.
Which is
and then he's like, what the
exactly
fuck
what
do you
Rose is
want me to
doing.
do? Like, what the fuck do you want from me, from this?
Right.
And then she's like, well, I mean, now that you're here,
Yeah, help us.
You could help us, and like, it'd be cool to have extra spirit and stuff.
Because he
and
doesn't
it's
have
like-
plausible deniability anymore.
Right,
He's already in it.
Yeah, he's too far in. He knows too much.
Right.
And he's like, fuck, I mean, it's not my ideal day of like helping my girlfriend get her old boyfriend back. But
God.
I'm gonna get a few drinks and just see where that fucking takes me.
When he went off, I mean, she told him, like, it's at 4:30.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't know if he was going to come back
Yeah.
when they left for dinner. Because I wouldn't. I don't know that I would.
Right, yeah.
But he does.
Yeah. And she's just like, oh, hey. It's like, what's up? Like, he's obviously very visibly agitated, but, like, trying to put on a good, like, sort of vibe for this. And, you know,
Yeah.
he's showing up, you know? That's the
It
vibe.
made me nervous when they were standing up and, like, getting ready to go that Rose saw what she thought was, like, an eager glint in Victor's eyes.
Yeah.
And I am always nervous when Victor's happy.
Yeah. That
I
always
don't
gives me...
want him to be happy.
No, that's not a good omen, for sure.
But I feel better knowing that there's at least another person who can watch Victor during
Right.
this dinner.
Yeah. And then they make their way to see the man, Robert.
The man,
The man.
Mr. Bob.
Mr. Bob.
I'm so nervous.
Yeah.
But I would love to see this played out in the show because it would not be in Vegas. Because everything there happens in Europe. So I would wonder where they would fit. Like, what is the European equivalent of Vegas?
Yeah.
But I'm on the tip of my toe. I'm so nervous right now. God. She, like, breaks my heart, and then I'm, like, turning pages trying to, like, figure out what's gonna happen.
Right. I'm
criminal.
nervous. I'm scared For everyone. Ugh.
And we're only like a quarter of the way through this book.
God.
What is wrong with her?
Right. What's going on?
We have chapters 9 and 10 next week.
Yeah, we do.
And I'm very nervous.
Yeah.
But we have some amazing patrons to thank. Do you want to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Katie Black.
Ooh, thank you to Kylie Minty.
Ow, ow. Thank you to Alex Dornan.
Ooh, thank you to Mulch Gray.
Mulch. Thank you to Jasmine Anastasia.
Ooh, thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Pew, pew, pew. Thank you to Cassandra O'Shea.
O'Shea. Thank you to Katia Karp.
Ow, ow. Thank you to Hope Castile.
Ooh. Thank you to Rachel Ashford.
Ooh. Thank you to Vivian Yulee.
Ooh. Thank you to Maddie Facinelli.
Pew, pew, pew. Thank you to Samara Rinaldi.
Ooh. Thank you to Genevieve Morgan. Come on down.
Pew, pew. Ba, 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 da. To Danielle Berg.
Ooh. Thank you to my mom, your mom, our mom, Kelly Beck.
Mom. Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ooh. Thank you to Lara Forty.
Ow. Thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Ooh. Thank you to Maria Swan.
Ow, ow. Thank you to India Peach.
Ooh. Thank you to Emily Ozera.
Ow. Thank you to Jaylene Ivashkov.
Ooh. And last but certainly not least, thank you to Ashlyn Vocal.
Ow, ow.
I have a fan fiction for you this week that was written by the creator Little Yellow Raincoat.
Great.
It was published only days ago. And it is titled Only Cloudy Skies Give Me Freedom.
Okay.
It has over 40,000 words. I'm going to read all of them for you now. I wanted to go back to our roots. So this is a Rosalie and Jessica fanfiction.
Okay.
Love. And the summary really pulled me. So I'm just going to read the summary for you.
All right.
Rosalie Hale doesn't fall in love. She wrote it off almost a century ago. But that changed after one little chirping human bumped into her life uninvited, and her name was Jessica Stanley. Now it's a constant battle of protecting Jessica from her worlds and what comes with it. But that all comes crashing down when Edward suddenly falls in love with a human girl of his own named Bella Swan, causing the eyes of the Volturi to eventually turn their eyes to the Cullens. The gravitational pull, the string that ties Jessica and Rosalie together, and the universal powers that may be, warn Rosalie that there isn't something quite right about Edward's own claims of being under the gravitational pull. Edward couldn't possibly be fated to a singer, and Bella couldn't possibly be as innocent as she claims to be. It's something not even Alice could see coming, not until it might be too late. The time is ticking, the calendar's pages turn over, and the spring of youth is slowly coming to an end. Rosalie wishes for an everlasting that Jessica isn't scared of, where her little bird can still have all her freedoms without being tied down by the same things Rosalie is. So there are at least 5 chapters, over 40,000 words, and it was published on the 5th of January. So if that interests you,
yeah,
that is new, hot off the AO3 presses.
Slay.
And sounds painful. Not embarrassing, but like emotionally Ferrero Rocher painful to dig into.
Oof.
So enjoy, folks. Enjoy your pain.
Yeah, honestly, we haven't given you enough today.
Right, exactly.
Some more.
If you are still looking for more gossip, then get some chocolate popcorn. Enjoy someone who is not a pretend dead author.
Yes, so
and
true.
have some fanfic. Well, until next week, as we stay here in the Pacific Northwest.
Get bit.
And get whipped.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.